Hey, what's up everybody? This is Scattercat. Welcome to another exciting episode of Let's Play Dark Souls. Now, before we start, I'm going to say a few things. I did not record any of the farming I did or any of the upgrading of the weapons that I did because it would just take too long to do and it would be pretty boring for the most part, but I will show you what I did anyway. So first off, here we go. I upgraded the broadsword to a broadsword plus 5, and I upgraded all of my armor pieces to plus 3. And that's pretty much all I did. As you can see by the soul count in the lower right corner, I have far fewer souls than what I had before. So that's fine, I guess. I'll get it all back eventually anyway. It doesn't really matter. So aside from just farming souls by killing enemies and getting Titanite shards that way to upgrade your equipment, you can also just come down here to Andre, who sells them for 800 souls apiece. So that's pretty good. It's a decent price. It doesn't take too long to get enough Titanite shards to upgrade everything that way. He also sells a bunch of weapons, like I said last time. I actually got a longsword, like you see here, from an enemy that I killed while I was farming. So you can get a longsword that way. You don't have to buy one from him if you want one. However, just comparing the two longsword and broadsword statistically, they are exactly the same in every aspect, except the broadsword does slightly more damage. The other difference is that the longsword has a slightly different moveset, so if that's something that you want to check out, go for it. I personally don't care either way, just because I use different weapons after a little bit of the game anyway, so it really doesn't matter to me since it's only the beginning. Something else I wanted to point out was that he also sells the Tower Kite Shield, which is the shield that I have right now, and he also sells the Caduceus, whatever, Kite Shield, and they are exactly the same. There is not a single bit of difference between them. So if you already have the Tower Kite Shield, there's no point in even looking at the shields because the large leather shield is worse anyway, so you're not even going to bother buying that. So it's basically between these two, and they're the same, so who cares?
I'll be seeing you there.
So something that I also wanted to show before we got going here was that the shield ratings. Oh, that's the wrong menu. Oh, crap. So I'm going to go down here to the shield and I'll show what I mean by some of that stuff. The Tower Kite Shield, toggling the display here. You can see that the physical damage reduction is at 100%, which means that if you're blocking with your shield, you will not take damage from blocking an attack. There are shields that have a lower physical percentage rating, like the wooden shield. As you can see, the wooden shield has a physical damage reduction percentage of 93, which means that 7% of the damage done to you when you're blocking, you'll take that. So it's absolutely critical to find a shield that has a 100% rating for that. Now you can also see some other cool stats, like it reduces magic by 30%, fire by 70%, lightning by 50%, and it has a 58 for stability. And stability ratings are pretty good. If they're over 50, it's pretty good. And I can generally stick with the Tower Kite Shield my entire playthrough, but there are other shields that I'll pick up and use anyway. You can also see a durability rating here on the bottom, if I can get to it quickly. There we go. It's at 250 out of 250, so it depletes with use. It just happens as you play the game. Weapons have the same thing, armor has the same thing. It also weighs 3 pounds. I think that's pounds, I think. So comparing this with the Hollow Soldier Shield that I picked up off of one of the enemies, you can see that they have the same amount of physical damage inflicted if you're using it as a weapon, and you can do that if you equip it in your right hand. It's really silly, but you can do it if you want. But they do have the same ratings for physical damage reduction, magic damage reduction, and lightning damage reduction. However, fire is different. The Tower Kite Shield will block more fire damage, and it also weighs a half a pound less, and its stability is greater. So there is absolutely no reason why you would ever want to use a Hollow Soldier Shield. There's absolutely no reason for that at all. So before we head out to take down the boss of this area. That's all we're going to do, by the way, in this video. We're just going to take down the boss. I'm going to reverse hollowing for the first time in this entire recording. And you'll see what that will allow us to do. So we revived a human, and man, do I look crazy strong now. Oh, look at that. I look crazy strong. I also have a pretty hairy chest, which is unexpected. So something that I'm going to point out here, looking at all of my stats now, I should have compared this beforehand now that I think about it, but my resistances all went up, and my item discovery also went up. And I guess you'll just have to take my word for it because I forgot to compare beforehand. So we're going to head up and take down all these enemies on our way to the boss. It's a pretty cool boss for this area of the game. I like the design personally. And I like the design of most of the bosses and most of the enemies. I really like the art style that the team used to make this game. I really like it. Come on. There we go. I'm also going to try parrying with my bare hand because that is possible. I just want to show that it's possible to do. I'll probably fail. There we go. Alright. So you can parry with your bare hand. It's possible. Otherwise, blocking, the normal block button just does a punch. It's kind of silly, but hey, whatever. So I'm going to switch back to my shield here. That failed. Alright, cool. Let's just get a backstab so I can make sure it gets done. There we are. Awesome. I don't foresee this boss fight posing much of a threat, all things considered, just because of hollowing, or reversing the hollowing to become human. That will allow us to summon Knight Solaire to help us out. If you can remember Knight Solaire, he's a pretty cool guy. And he's a big help for this fight. Fuck you, dude. There we go. Perfect. He was getting ready for a parry, and I don't know why he didn't do it. I was really expecting him to go for it there. Let's get these guys' attention. Come on. Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro. Oh, I didn't backstep in time. Ah, shit. As far as making the boss fight easier, I'm also going to be using some gold pine resin to lightening up my weapon. Which is what I did on the Taurus Demon. So it should be recognizable to everybody who's faithfully watching these. Which I hope is a lot of you. I hope you're faithfully watching my series because I work hard on it and I'm pretty proud of it. Alright, there we go. Gonna pillage that. It's another straight sword. Yay. Yay. It's not really a big deal. Alright. So, heading up here is the way to get to the boss fight. And I probably should have kept Lautrec alive until after the boss fight, now that I think about it, because you can also summon him. His summon sign appears over here in this little corner area, and he'll help you fight the bosses as well. And up here at the top of the ladder, we will see Solaire's summon sign. Here it is. And you see a little silhouette of him show up, showing that, like, hey, that's Solaire. He's going to help you out now. So I'm going to heal with a humanity before we head in. And I should also equip my gold pine resin just so that I can use it right away. I only have one left, so I better not die. Oh, I should also equip my armor. That would be a good idea. So we're back to moving a little slowly, but I've got Solaire helping me out, so he'll provide some backup for me. Something about the bosses is that they usually get aggroed to the last thing that did damage to them. So if you're doing co-op with an actual human being over the internet, you can kind of tag team a boss that way, and it's a lot easier. But with Solaire, I'm just going to have to hope that it works out. So it usually works out with Solaire. He's a pretty good guy. He's pretty cool. So let's head in and see what happens. Another thing that I really like about the bosses in this game is the music that plays when you fight them. I really love the music for the boss fights. So hopefully I will be able to do some audio balancing to make sure that the music is definitely awesome for you guys, but it's not too loud that it overpowers my voice, because I'm still learning. I'm still learning about all the software that I'm using for editing this stuff, so we'll see. And this is one of the few cutscenes in the game, one of the very few. They're few and far between. That's one of the things that I really like about the game. And, man, he just looks cool. There's also a cool trick that you can do to some of the bosses that have tails, which is that if you cut off their tail, you can usually get a weapon out of it. So that's what I'm going to try to do. If I can get around him here. There we go. Solaire, attack him, please. There, I got the tail. Easy as that. So now he's attacking Solaire, which gives me the opportunity to just attack him relentlessly here. And once we do enough damage to him, yep, the other one shows up. So two gargoyles are here to fight. Oh man. Alright, there we go. He went down. He went down, no problem. So now we just gotta help Solaire out. There we go. End of the fight. It is over. So that's one way that you can make the boss fights easier on yourself. First of all, using the gold pine resin like I did, that alone will help out with the fights by putting lightning damage on my weapon. And I think if I go in here to look at it, it should show the increased damage. Nah, never mind. It doesn't. Actually, it probably would have shown that in my stats screen, but it's too late for that. So Solaire disappeared after that fight, which is fine. That's how it usually works. And he gave me a sunlight medal, which we already got one from Lautrec, and I didn't read it then, so I'll read it now. This faintly warm medal engraved with the symbol of the sun is the ultimate honor, awarded to those who summon the Warrior of Sunlight and complete a goal. The symbol represents Lord Gwyn's firstborn, who lost his deity status and was expunged from the annals, but the old god of war still watches closely over his warriors. So because of that medal, a lot of people were thinking that, because of the description on that medal, first of all, a lot of people thought that Lautrec was a warrior of the sun, just like Solaire, and a lot of people also thought that Solaire was Gwyn's firstborn. Neither one of those are true. Lautrec is not a warrior of the sun, and Solaire is not the firstborn son of Lord Gwyn. And we're just going to climb up this ladder here, and we're going to ring the first bell of awakening. So out of the two bells, we've already got one of them down. And ringing the two bells is probably the first half of the game, I'd say. So we are just about a quarter of the way through the game at this point, after ringing this bell. Which we'll do another short cutscene, I think. Yep, there we go. Short cutscene. And I really like this cutscene because it gives you a nice scale of everything. And that castle behind the bell tower there, attached to the cliff wall, we will actually go in that later on. That's one of the later areas of the game. Another cool thing about Dark Souls is that if you can see it on the map, odds are you can go there at some point in the game. It's also quite impressive having a world this big and there's not a single loading screen going from area to area. It's very impressive. So now after ringing the bell, this guy's here. He's okay, I guess. Yay, he's giving us a warm welcome. We're great. And he sells some items, he sells some stuff. It's not really a big deal. The Homeward Bones are the only things that I really would ever buy from him. He also sells a miracle called Karmic Justice. I've never used it, don't really know anything about it. And he also sells a talisman, Velka's Talisman, which, those are its stats right there. It has an A scaling with Faith. I think that's Faith. I can't really look at it right now, but I think that's an A scaling with Faith. Or Intelligence? Faith. That's Faith. Whatever. And he also sells some rings. So he sells this one of the infamous bite rings commissioned by Sir Arstor of Kareem. Despite the dreadful rumors surrounding its creation, this ring is an unmistakable asset in its ability to help prevent bleeding. And this one is the same thing, but it helps to prevent poison. And this is another ring of sacrifice. We already have one. I never buy those rings. Oh, I forgot to learn the Jester. Let's go back and learn that Jester. Come on. There we go. I want to learn this. Well, what is it? That's a very popular one for PvP. It's also a common thing for NPCs in this game to have a really creepy laugh, and Oswald is no exception. So I'm going to go in and check out that Jester quick. Which one should I get rid of? I'll get rid of the prayer. I never use that one. Let's put hurrah there. We'll keep the bow. We'll keep the wave. Beckon. We'll get rid of beckon and do shrugging. And we'll get rid of pointing. Which one of these? Let's get rid of... I want to keep pointing down because I use that in PvP too. I never use point up. So let's get rid of that and use, well, what is it? Because this... I find this fucking hilarious in multiplayer in PvP. Right before you fight someone or right after you kill them, that's always a blast to use on them. I want to do hurrah once, because it's just this cool, like, yeah! Like, right after you beat a boss or beat a guy, whatever. And then there's, shrugging. Yeah, it's pretty great. Pointing down is, when, basically what I use when I'm really pissed off at somebody, if they're being a jackass. I always point down after I beat them, like, yeah, that's right, you deserve that. I'm being kind of silly right now. I don't know. It's a silly day. I'm having a good day. I just got done beating BioShock Infinite last night. I don't mean to date the video for the future or anything, but I just beat BioShock Infinite last night, so I'm having a really, really awesome time right now. It was a total blast. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to say that I beat it. And I really, really enjoyed it. I haven't quite decided if it's the best BioShock game I played or not. Haven't made that decision yet, but I did thoroughly enjoy it. So let's just head back to the bonfire, and I think that might be it for this video. I might show a few more things, depending on if I think I can fit it in a good amount of time. I also apologize for these somewhat long videos. I realize that the last 4 have been 2-parters, and that was not intended. In fact, the parts 3 and 4 were supposed to be 1 episode, and it ended up being over an hour of recording, and it didn't feel like that at all when I was doing it. It felt like it was a half hour. So I apologize for that. I'm trying to time myself from here on out. So let's go to the bonfire, and that'll be it, I think, for this episode. Oh, another thing that I will point out. One of the items that I got after beating the gargoyle was a Twin Humanities. You use that to gain 2 humanity, and it fully restores your hit points. Those are generally, less useful than the humanity that you normally get, because if you only want to reverse your hollowing, you don't want to increase your humanity for the item discovery and all of that. Twin Humanities are going to screw that up for you. Humanity is more useful because you can just use 1, reverse hollowing, and your humanity counter will be at 0. So if you just want to use it to summon an ally to defeat a boss or something, Humanities are going to be your go-to item versus Twin Humanities. I only ever use Twin Humanities when I want to increase my humanity to farm for souls or items. That's the only time I ever use them. So let's go over to the items that I got from that boss fight quick. I'll show those off. We have the Gargoyle Tail Axe, which is a quality weapon because it scales with strength and dexterity. It leans towards dexterity more than strength, but it's still a quality weapon because it still scales with both. And we also got the Gargoyle's Halberd, which is also a quality weapon. It scales with both strength and dexterity. As you can see down here. I should have pointed that out with the last one. Down here in the param bonuses. Quality just means that it scales with both of those instead of 1. That's all that it means. It doesn't mean that the weapons are better. It just means it's just a phrase that came from Demon Souls, which was kind of the prior game in the series to this one. The broadsword is also a quality weapon, as well as the longsword. The rapier and the S-stock are also quality weapons, but they scale more with dexterity than they do with strength. And that's mainly what I have right now. I don't have a lot of strength weapons. I have the Morningstar, which is a strength weapon. It only scales with strength. But that's all I have for strength weapons right now. And I'm debating right now, after watching a few videos on YouTube about quality weapons and strength weapons and dexterity weapons, and for the purposes of making an entertaining video series for all of you guys, I'm debating whether I want to do a strength build like I usually do, or if I want to go do a quality build, because that will allow me to show off a wider variety of the weapons and show that they're effective, versus just showing my usual strength run. So you guys let me know if you would like one of those, or if you don't care, if you just want to see what I would normally do. To end the video, we're going to go down this little walkway and talk to another cool NPC. I like him a lot. I don't like him as much as Solaire, but I still like him a lot. And he has this weird onion armor. He just hums. He's just kind of bored, just chilling.
Oh, forgive me. I was absorbed in thought.
I'm sure you were.
Siegmeyer of Katarina. Quite honestly, I've run flat up against a wall.
Yeah, quite literally.
I should say. The thing just won't budge, no matter how long I wait. And oh, have I waited. So here I sit, in quite a pickle, weighing my options, so to speak.
So there he is. He's
Still closed. Still closed.
Yep, it's still closed. So there's Siegmeyer, and we can help him out as the story progresses in the game. There is a point in the game where we can actually get his armor, and it's pretty funny to wear because you just look like a big fat guy running around. It's pretty funny. So that'll be it for this episode of Let's Play Dark Souls. Sorry it's a little bit short. I promise next episode we'll get into some more detailed stuff. We'll explore some new areas, fight some more guys, and you know what? I think we'll fight a boss next episode. I think that's what we'll do, because you guys deserve to see another boss after this very short episode, so I think that's what I'm going to do for you. So, anyway, for the time being, you guys have an awesome time, and I'll see you next time. Like, subscribe, favorite, share it, whatever you want to do with this video series, this episode. But the more you share it, the more you like it, or favorite it, the more my videos can reach other people. So I would really appreciate it if you guys would just do that for me. If you don't, cool, whatever, but I'm just suggesting it. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next time for another exciting edition of Let's Play Dark Souls.